so inflated, like, just reception.
You know what sucks? I want to play Bloodborne. Like, because it's like a horror theme. I heard about some of the stuff in the story. It seems very interesting, but I just know I'm not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So
it's like, you have to have patience.
Apparently Bloodborne's one of the harder ones, too. So, oh my god, you figured that out.
Ooh, hardest puzzle. This game has the hardest puzzles.
What if your bedroom was locked and that was the puzzle, and just all the time people were coming in? How did you figure it out? What? I turned it down once and right once. Oh. Man. I do want to play Bloodborne. None of the other ones interest me, but the horror theme of Bloodborne seems really
Honestly,
cool.
the biggest problem for me for Bloodborne is that since it's only on PS4 and it never got a PS4 Pro patch, it runs at like 20 FPS on PS4.
Bigger.
That's like the hardest thing for me to play about it. I never finished it because of that.
I can't play Elden Ring anymore because I broke my controller playing it.
Did you like throw it against the wall or something?
No, it's a way lamer thing. The button you used to roll started getting stuck, so I would just get stuck rolling.
And yeah, if you can't roll, that's the entire game.
Yeah.
You just can't play.
And I'm just like, well, I can't.
Souls fans' ideal game mechanic is rolling through attacks with iframes, and that's amazing gameplay to them.
It is very satisfying.
It's satisfying, but it looks stupid AF.
The Chief's voice does not match his body. It's been a long time since I watched the cutscenes in this game.
What? He has a pretty gravelly, low voice.
Yeah, no, that seems fine.
For someone who's like 8 feet tall,
I guess he could
want to
be
like
more baritone.
like Danny Trejo, something like that.
Speaking of taking advantage of iframes, don't you do that a lot in this game?
Yeah.
Whenever you kick someone?
Even when you're vaulting over like a ledge or
yeah.
climb up a thing, you have iframes.
That's right.
Ladders, jumping down. Yep. Well, could you imagine if you didn't have iframes when you were like jumping down? It'd be awful.
But imagine if RE4 had a button on the controller at all times that you can use to roll and get those iframes every single second.
When the screen says kick.
But you can't. It's contextual.
You're right. You're right. I'm just kidding.
Hey, let's watch this cutscene.
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah.
This is so
Doesn't
stupid.
he get BTFO'd?
Yeah. He just got punched in the face.
What is the symbolism there?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Who did it?
I wish they made that a little less obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can literally just see her.
Okay, never mind. They made it unbelievably obvious.
I think the only thing you don't see is just her direct eyes.
Who dat?
I gotta say,
I wish it was just like the gun in the hand or something like that.
Yeah. I gotta say though, the Resident Evil 2 remake, the Resident Evil 2 remake Leon design, I know Trevor wasn't fond of it.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge fan of basing like real life people and like mocapping them into a game. It just takes me out of the experience. Like I can never stop thinking that it's just a regular person that's been mocapped.
But looking at the Resident Evil 4 reveal,
Oh my god, that frame rate.
the remake reveal, I'm definitely appreciating it a lot more than before. Like I think it fits Resident Evil 4 remake better than it did Resident Evil 2. I don't know exactly what.
I actually think that the person that they chose for Leon in RE2 Remake actually works really good because he is very naive in that game, and I think it works because he has such a young face and he's like way more naive than in the original game. So I think it's like it was a perfect like casting choice in my opinion.
Oh.
But because RE4 Remake, he's like 6 years older and more depressed, I guess, in this one, it doesn't work as well for me.
I guess I'd be depressed.
Wouldn't you be more depressed?
No. I would be perfectly fine after I survived, like, my hometown getting nuked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess it's not his hometown. I guess it's just the town he's working at.
Yeah.
Where is Leon Kennedy
He's from Nantucket.
That's right.
The first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, something about this. This is in 60 FPS, but you can see that some of the animations are still in 30, and that applies to the semi-auto rifle too.
My God.
Every time.
Yeah, that's.
We've had this conversation 100 times, but I would always choose FPS over graphics if I had to choose. That's why something like, I love the Uncharted games for their story, but they run at like 5 FPS.
Just a box of submachine gun ammo
In a bird.
bird's
Yeah.
nest.
And makes me sick.
What bird is carrying
Motion blur,
that?
is that what they call it? Makes
Oh
me
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Can you combine red herb with flashbang?
Yeah.
Cool.
You run slightly faster while holding a grenade. And I just want to run through all this.
The more you know.
Yeah, another thing about pro mode that I'm pretty sure is true is the enemy drops. There's more of a chance for it to be money instead of ammo. So especially with the inflated enemy HP and less ammo, if you do try to gun down everything, you can probably do it, but it's not a super great idea. Especially for some of those rooms that have like literally 30 enemies in them.
Yo, Ben, I'm going to tell you this, but this also goes out to anybody in YouTube land.
Yeah.
There's a game that came out last year or 2020 called Tormented Souls,
Yes.
and it's friggin' awesome.
It's great. I still have to finish it. But
I have it on the PS4, and the only reason I was reminded of it is I found out through, I guess, me just doing it, that you can barely kill everything in the game with without using melee in that game. But, dude, it's so old-school style Resident Evil, and one of my favorite parts of it is, like, the guns you use aren't real guns. Like, your pistol is a nail gun, and your shotgun, you, like, find 2 pieces that are called shotgun pieces, but it looks like it's like a, like, I don't know, like a trombone or something like that. It looks almost like that. It's really cool. You should play it. Everyone should play it.
I will say that basically every bird's nest that Trevor has shot thus far was something that I never saw. Like, in all my times playing.
There's one that we're going to be shooting in the next room that I never knew about.
Oh.
I don't like to organize my inventory that much because in this game, like, it instantly gets ruined. But I like to have all my guns in the top left corner because your cursor always defaults up there, and it just makes things easier.
Nicholas was streaming. What was it? It was basically an inventory simulator for a Resident Evil 4 style inventory simulator, and I was like, "What are you doing? This is the worst part of the game." Besides the island, but
yeah. Is Nick partnered yet?
Oh my God, he's so close.
Seriously?
No.
Oh. Isn't partnered the first thing, or no?
Oh, well,
Don't you only need, like, 60 followers or something like that?
He did the first thing.
Okay.
Here's the bird's nest that is awesome, but, like, how are you supposed to know about it?
What?
Oh my God!
And it has a hand grenade.
These freaking
Grenades
birds.
in this game, even in pro mode, are incredible. They one-hit kill everything other than the island enemies. But even those, they can die sometimes.
Ahí está. There he is! Lord Sadler.
I feel like I actually might have been able to, like, get that bird's nest or noticed it because, like, I think I would have had at some point, like, turned around to, like, look for the medallion.
Yeah. And, like, you come back this way with Ashley, but it's at night, so it's like you can see it kind of, but it's still really hard.
At some point, I will be doing a Tormented Souls playthrough. I'm currently trying to do all the platinum stuff, which includes going through the game without healing, which is quite a thing.
Wow, that's a trophy. That's pretty.
Yeah. Dude,
I mean, Resident Evil Remake 1 has it, but like Remake 1's such an easier game.
Dude, Tormented Souls, if you get bit by a zombie or whatever they are twice, you are in caution. So, luckily they give you like 25 ink ribbons so you can constantly save. But still, that's a lot of trial and error. And I have not been willing to do that quite yet.
What? Hello?
Wow, nice dodge. Oh my god, this guy...
The king enemy.
Jesus.
Great Baldy.
He's still not dead. Okay. The ultimate Ganado.
Not Resident Evil related, but...
Did not remember that one.
I've been watching stuff on the Legacy of Kain / Soul Reaver series.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a series that has soul. Literally. But it's so crazy how they came out with so many in such a short time span, and then they were just like, we're done. And it's a shame because the stories are incredible. They're really well written and all that stuff.
Yeah, just one of those things that it was sort of a hit, and Eidos just like made so many sequels so fast.
Yeah. Well, they made Blood Omen 2 and Legacy of Kain 2 Blood Omen 2 and Soul Reaver 2 at the same time.
Also, I want to say that the Dynamite enemies in this game are one of the best enemies in any video game because they are so cool, they're so dangerous, but if you know how to play around them and like shoot the dynamite in their hand, they can do massive damage against the enemy. I think it's like such a cool dynamic.
Yeah. A risk-reward thing.
And it's one of those things that, like, when I played this when I was younger, I just never thought of it that way. But, like, when you think about it now, and, like, when I think about game design, I'm just like, man, they are such cool enemies. The solution to that is 3334443, in case anyone is interested.
That's so based.
Cool.
Believe it or not, like, Legacy of Kain, the original one, has always been a game I wanted to LP, but I just know I'm never going to.
Shut up, Hunnigan.
I love that Diablo style.
But it's like top-down, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much like top-down-ish, Diablo-ish. And there's very few, like, cutscenes or, like, breaks from the gameplay. Essentially, like, Kain just, like, constantly, like, interjects what he's feeling, what he's doing. And that's cool. I like that.
I feel like I remember, like watching you play it.
Yeah, I've never got anywhere, but I've definitely played it. It's one of those where I would have to, like, honestly
Here's
learn
the first
game.
snake.
Yep, okay.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm mad now.
This is the one that I remembered after getting
Yeah, snakes are not random spawns, thankfully. All 15.
You know, there is a randomizer for Resident Evil 4.
I don't even quite see how that's possible.
It's just, it's way too hard for my skill level. Because, like, if you do enemy randomizer, it's like, you get to a room with, like, all, like, island residents or something. Or regenerators.
Or Verdugo.
They do balance it out a bit, because, like, really hard enemies will have the same HP that they're intended to. So even if you get, like, all of the, I don't know, just really hard enemies like regenerators or whatever, they will still die relatively easily, but it's still so hard. I forget the name of the enemy, but it's the really fast guy that's like the right hand of Salazar.
Verdugo.
Yeah, and like he can be random spawns.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How, what else does it randomize besides the enemies?
Shop.
It randomizes shop, and there was a recent update that randomizes your starting loadout too, but that was like only a couple months ago.
Wait, so like...
So you could start with like... I think you have to start with at least one weapon.
Yeah.
Right, but like the shop, like what he has available is randomized?
Yep.
Huh.
So you could probably get like, I don't know, first merchant has like red 9 or something.
Yeah,
well, I guess
or
it
you can
always
get
has.
like screwed.
Yeah.
Because it does include like, you can have like chicken egg.
Okay, that's pretty cool, because I was thinking a lot of this stuff is random drops in this game, so I was like, how do you even randomize besides the enemies? But yeah, that makes sense. What's the weirdest thing
my god, my inventory's already full.
What's the weirdest thing game you guys have ever seen
What are you selling?
randomized, like in a game?
Is that all? Is that all? Thank you.
Like the game itself or the thing?
I'm sorry,
Game?
the game itself. Like when you're like, why did they make a randomizer for this? And then also the original thing you said.
That's a good question.
What are you?
The Resident Evil 1 remake is pretty cool. The
Yeah.
the randomizer.
So when I was originally practicing this, I wanted to use the Punisher the entire way through, but the Punisher is the worst weapon ever. It was getting to the point where it's not only is it bad, but it's really expensive to upgrade. So I would get to the island and like the Punisher would take like 15 shots per enemy.
Oof.
And like at that point I was like, I'm just selling this thing. So I am not doing that. I'm just using the red 9 like always.
What are you
The Blacktail is like also really good, but it's also like a hardcore money sink. So like when you're doing new game without any new game plus, you don't really want to get the black tail.
I'm trying to imagine if like I was like, hey, you did this thing, person at CIB. Here's a PS4. And then 1 second later, they're
They
like,
sold
I'd like
it
to sell a
back to you.
PS4. I'd be so
I was
mad.
just thinking that. I was like, wow, I wonder if he minds that you're doing this. To the same guy. Well, I mean...
And if you
it's-
get
Yeah.
if you get all 15, he upgrades the attack on it for free, which increases the value that it sells for. And it's like, thanks for the free 15,000.
Yeah, and also the labor you use to perform the upgrade. And materials, I guess.
You know what I really like about like certain shops and certain games, and I think Fallout does it. I love it when like merchants are able to just run out of money. Like Final Fantasies, you can just go and sell everything, and they have a billion, whatever, infinite gil. But I like it when it's like, you can't sell anything to me. I have literally no money.
Like a Morrowind Skyrim.
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
was about to say.
Yeah. I'm not obvious.
Other
Although
games
that
do
was
it too.
that game was weird because you could get a level up perk that increased the amount of money they started with, which is very an interesting way to get them to have more money.
Huh.
Like you're skilled enough to make them have more money. I don't get how that works.
I obviously I'm not a huge fan of Bethesda games, but that's a pretty cool thing to have in. It makes it feel more grounded in reality, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, it's still a game about post-apocalyptic whatever, but you know.
So the TMP was always a weapon I slept on whenever I played RE4 as a kid. But it's not a very good weapon to use against regular enemies because it just, you eat through your ammo so quickly, even if it does kill things pretty fast. But it's really good for stunning enemies, like just shooting them one time and then they will topple over. I did that a couple times last room. And it's also really good for bosses.
So why are they ditching his body in a lake?
I don't know.
They just put
Why would
the
they
other guy
care?
on like they hooked him in the middle of
Yeah.
the
Also,
village.
this cutscene is completely optional. You don't even have to look at it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna assume that it's because they had to give like an offering to the fish thing. I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess I forgot
yeah.
that he eats it.
That is true.
How do you
Do you
how do you
think?
keep that thing fed?
Do you think Lord Sadler's
How many
like,
police must
hey,
go by?
like when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, Ferris, did you feed Sugar?
Did you feed
like,
the fish?
hey,
Another
did
one.
you?
Oh wait, I definitely got that one.
Did you feed the giant fish?
The antique
Oh
pipe,
yeah. Sorry.
the antique pipe in the last room, the treasure that's in the random.
I don't think I've
nest,
ever
Yeah,
seen that.
I never.
That one is a rough one.
I've definitely gotten that headdress thing that you had, but
Yeah.
not the. I don't think.
Yeah, the antique pipe. I actually first learned of its existence. I just had like I think it was a Bakwasu like YouTube up in the background, and it was like, oh, just got the antique pipe, and I was like,
I'm sure
what's he
you
talking
two know about this, but I just want to show it.
Yeah.
I do. This is RE4 has so many cool random things like this. Why would you ever even do this?
Is it even working? Do I have
Do you have to
stand
get
closer?
closer? Yeah.
There we go. Oh, I never.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, now I bet a bunch of people know because it's
Yeah. It's,
That's gotta be like a secret one.
See ya. Still cool. Yeah, like, even just in this last hour, we saw that, and then also going back into the Chief's room, like, things that are just completely unnecessary, but just very cool.
I knew about the Chief's room, I knew about that, but, like...
I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, secret, like, rare deaths that you can do.
That's so cool.
But it's like a lot of times you just don't want to do it.
I would love to see that
I suck at this
continue
boss.
to happen in the remake.
I just don't know what they're... I think the remake's going to be generally good, if not great. But I just don't know what they're going to keep and what they're going to change. And I really think they're going to go for a much more serious tone, especially from the trailer.
Yeah, it's...
Like, this game is serious. Like, obviously right now, like, Leon is in a life or death scenario. He's constantly in one. But, like, he just does not take almost anything seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those things where, like, this game is serious and scary, but Leon, it being the main character, makes it not scary.
Well, why can't it be like RE Biohazard, where it is serious, but you have, like, Jack being kooky and stuff like that, and Lucas being kooky.
There's just, like... I don't know. I can't say, like, I would mind. It's so cool. Oh, this boss was a nice change of pace. What the hell? But,
That was weird.
like,
He usually doesn't do this so early.
I'm
not complaining, because it is free damage.
I wouldn't mind the tone. Like, the camp is fun, right? There's nothing wrong with, like, having a little bit of that camp. It's a little extreme in this game, so I wouldn't mind if they just lost a little bit of that.
Yeah, they just cannot copy the script again, especially after RE2 Remake.
Yeah,
They really played up this seriousness, and they just can't, like, backtrack that.
And they really cannot do the lines about, like, the president's daughter being equipped with ballistics.
They literally removed that in the RE4 VR.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. And at the very end, when Ashley propositions Leon for overtime.
Yeah, that's obviously not going to be in the new one.
It's so... Well, I mean...
Well, thinking about it, 2 and 3 were...
So
2 and
bad.
3 Remake were very serious. But
What?
thinking about it, 7 and 8 really weren't. Like, Heisenberg alone in 8 is, like, ridiculous.
8 is...
Yeah, Ethan like,
Ethan's
wants
the
to be
stupidest
Leon.
man alive.
Yeah, like, Ethan wants to be Leon, but he does not have the charisma. But he does say some stupid things, and some funny things sometimes.
It's, God, there's so many great villains in 8.
What's the one? I think when he kills Lady Dimitrescu, he says essentially, "No, you."
Yep, that's right.
You're the one who's cursed.
Yeah.
And when he kills one of the bug sisters, he just says, "I hate bugs."
I hate bugs.
He has anti-charisma and it makes it funny.
And the way he says it is like, "I hate bugs."
Yeah, it's like a minor inconvenience. He saw an ant in his kitchen.
You're the one that's cursed. No, you!
Yeah.
Okay, 2005 internet. Thanks.
Curse you! You're the one who's cursed.
Dude, Village is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it seems like people generally like it, but it does seem like there are like a lot of detractors. But I think that game's great.
Well,
it's not perfect,
they're
but
freaking
so
wieners.
Fun.
I think it's great.
It's
so fun.
legitimately the most fun I've had with a game released in the last 5-10 years. I had so much fun. I even had fun with the Mercenaries, and I know a lot of people did not like it. I like the way it was set up.
Yeah, it's alright.
It was like one of the... There have been, like, very few games that, like, I could pick up and, like, both me and, Nicholas would be playing it and we'd be talking about it and be like, oh yeah, this rules. Doom Eternal was one, Resident Evil Village was one.
I heard Doom Eternal is just awesome.
Yeah.
Like, Doom 2016 is cool, but I heard Doom Eternal is just friggin' cool.
Yeah, I was watching some guy, like a streamer, talk about, like, how, AAA games released, like, recently just, like, seem completely plagued with, like, appearing unfinished on release. But I think, basically, those two, Doom Eternal and RE Village, like, they're very clearly like finished games.
I can't think of any like
They're or not otherwise like completely flawed.
I can't think of any major things in Village where they were like, oh yeah, we got to patch. Like they came out with patches, but I can't think of anything where it was like, oh, this is broken.
Yeah, I mean there was that problem on because I'm playing on PC, or I think it might have been on all consoles where it was there's like this micro stutter like every time you killed something.
Huh.
So, like, you would know it was dead because the game stuttered for, like, a second. Or not a second, but, like...
I don't think that happened to me, but I also didn't play it day one. I played it, like, a couple weeks or a month later.
I was a day one guy, which, you know, I'm not a big day one guy for, like, anything, but Doom Eternal, Village... I think they're probably the most...
I'm gonna continue my mission.
The best... And you would say they're both AAA, correct?
Do you know the last game I played on day one?
What was the last game we played on day one?
Remothered Broken Porcelain.
Very good.
What an amazing game.
The one before that was
We
Last
were
of Us Part 2.
The saddest thing is that we were kind of excited for
I
it.
was very excited.
Yeah.
Remothered, what's the first one called?
Tormented Fathers.
Tormented Fathers is like a cool game.
Yeah.
It's not perfect by any means, but it's a cool game.
But yeah, I don't know what happened to Broken Porcelain, but it's trash.
What's the next game I'm going to do that's like the level of Remothered Broken Porcelain? Ben,
I-
were you here when I
You
played
should definitely,
Nightcry?
yo,
I gotta
you
be
should definitely do
honest,
Tormented Souls.
All of these
All right.
games...
But that's a good game.
All
Yeah.
of these games, the titles...
You can do good games.
I cannot tell you which game is which among them.
Nightcry,
Like, they're
okay,
all just-
Nightcry
I know
was the
Nightcry
one...
Was on the... Was that on the boat? And then...
Yeah, and there was the professor who, like,
Yeah.
got, I don't know, killed randomly.
Yeah.
It's essentially Scissor Man.
Yeah.
I think the other day,
Clock Tower
Trevor and I were
spiritual-
playing, and I was like, hey, do you remember Nightcry? And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, that game sucked.
Yeah,
But
really...
it was the kind of perfect suck where it's I don't know, the second you hear that name, you're like, oh my god.
Like, that sucks.
You play as that girl that's just in like
Oh,
a
yeah.
champagne dress the entire time.
Look at this.
Heh.
Got some rare.
It's just
What are you
awesome.
selling?
Oh, man.
Is that all?
But, then Tormented
What are
Souls...
you buying?
No, wait, that's the one that you really like.
Remothered Tormented Fathers, which is an awful name.
Yeah.
Remothered Broken Porcelain, which is
Yeah.
the sequel, and Tormented Souls, which is the one I talked about, which is essentially about like an orphanage slash sanitarium kind of thing. I know, very original.
Yeah, these are all just, like, to me...
Do you remember?
I cannot, like, without that explanation, I would be like, I think they're all the same game.
Do you remember the first boss, Trevor, in Broken Porcelain? That, like, woman who kept following you, and it took me, like, an hour just to get her to, like, not recognize I was standing there.
It's like you have to make her go away, but the game didn't work.
It was so based. Just unbelievably based. And then it's one of those games where it's a bad game, but it lasts forever, and it just kept going.
Yeah.
And it just kept going.
You get out of the one house and we're like, oh, it's almost over, and then it goes on for another 3 hours.
And then the ending kept giving you, like, what's the word? Where you think it's going to end, but it doesn't. There's a specific term for that. I guess throw you a curveball. And then the best part was it totally led up to a cliffhanger where they're like, what about Remothered 3, huh? And we were like, please, God. And I followed the page on Facebook, and seeing the comments was very funny when they'd be like, my Remothered Broken Porcelain, da-da-da-da. And people were like, can you make the game work, please?
Actually, like, I find it so amusing when people will, like, become rabid fans of the worst stuff of all time. So you could probably just, like, go to, like, any Facebook page, and there's a guy who's just, like, the biggest fan of...
Dude, there were half the people were like, please fix this game, and half were like, oh, give him a break, da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like,
this is
what?
awesome.
Or, like, even just, like giving any reason. Like,
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, it's a lot to come out with a game. Like, give them a break." And it's like,
Nice
yeah,
sequence break.
it is a lot to come out with it, but how about you don't release it till it's ready?
By the way, we didn't talk about it at all, but like, I hate the, what are they called?
Regenerators?
No.
Oh, the parasites?
Yeah, the parasites.
Yeah, the parasites, they always find a way to screw you over at the worst possible moment.
Are they random?
I'm pretty sure there are some
two.
static spawns of them. Like, some enemies are like designed to always be parasite, but regular enemies just can be randomly. Like that second parasite zombie, when I practiced this earlier today, it didn't happen.
Okay.
The first one's obviously scripted, but the second one was definitely not.
You know the worst part is they do them in opposite order. The first one you see is my least favorite because of how long that the range is for the scythe or whatever they have.
Yeah.
And then the last one you see is the one where it's just a little like insect creature that crawls around. Like, okay, that should be the first one.
Yeah, the one that bites off your head, it's like, holy crap. You let it like near you for like 2 seconds and it's over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.